My name is Michael Cox. I am the Vice President for Mission Integration for the Greater Sacramento Service Area of Dignity Health here in Sacramento. Some common myths as we prepare to die that we might encounter or feel ourselves. One is the myth of simplicity, is the sense that, well, if we don't talk about it, it's just going to fix itself in the end. We don't need to worry about it right now. It's simple. People know what I want. Even though I don't tell them, they know what I want. And we just expect things to work out in the end. That's our nature. We expect things to be smooth and be simple. To debunk the myth of simplicity, though, we need to understand that when we think about our dying process, nothing is more complicated. It's not just about technology. It's not just about the disease process that we have. It's really about the relationships that we have with our loved ones, with our kids, with our family members, with our providers, with our healthcare providers. How do they know what truly we want? And as a person of faith, we are obligated to have those conversations. We really want to ensure that the people that we care about know who we are and know what our values are. And even if you are completely sure that your wife, your husband, your children, your friend who's going to make decisions for you when you can't make decisions for yourself, even if you absolutely are confident they know what your values are, have the conversation. I bet you'll be surprised. A second myth is what I would call our bad omen myth. And this myth essentially is the thought that if we have a conversation, or if we acknowledge our own mortality, we're going to cause it to happen sooner. And if we start talking about our death or what we would want in our death, we really are afraid that by doing that, it's going to bring it faster. One of the things in healthcare that you never ever say is the word quiet. I made that mistake a very long time ago as a brand new chaplain in a hospital up in Oregon. I walked into the intensive care unit and noticed that there were not very many patients. The nursing staff was relaxed. They were busy, but they were not running around like often they would be. And I acknowledged, I said, well, gosh, guys, it's really quiet in here today. And as soon as I said that, within an hour, the whole ICU was filled, and I had many, many glaring looks from our nursing staff. To debunk this myth of the bad omen, though, we really need to understand that as Catholics, as faithful servants of one another, having these conversations is so critically important to the quality of the way we live at the end of our life. We want our loved ones to understand our values. We want our children, our family members, even our neighbors at times, to understand what we would want if we could not speak for ourselves. Having those conversations does not cause our death to happen sooner. In fact, I think it makes our death even more joyful and more powerfully binding and community building for those that love us. In healthcare, we talk about good deaths and bad deaths. In my experience, the good deaths are ones where everyone is in sync with one another. They are surrounding the bed of their loved one. They are with their loved one as they pass. And the whole family and friends come together in a way that lifts up that individual that only they can do. And by allowing them to participate in those conversations and hear who you are as a person of God, as a faithful human, as someone who loves life and who also fears death, having those conversations is critically important to a successful and good death. Another myth that we encounter is the sense of vitalism, that we have to have our life prolonged by any technology that we can get our hands on, any treatments, and that biological life is the utmost importance. Unfortunately, in our society, we've medicalized our dying process, and we have tremendous technology at our fingertips. And while many of that is good, many of our technologies are good, and they do help people live longer, life at all costs truly is a myth and is not part of our Catholic understanding of how we should die and how we would want to die. To debunk that a bit more, when we think about the mainstream Catholic position between a sense of vitalism, we also have to understand there's another pole on the opposite side that says that every single person just needs to do whatever the heck they want to do. That it's all their autonomy trumps everything else. And that also is not aligned with Catholic teaching. So we live in this middle space in our Catholic moral tradition that allows for each individual to make their own decisions based on their own quality of life, but also based on their understanding of what their Catholic faith obligates them to do, as well as what the Catholic faith invites them to understand as important for themselves as well as for the larger community. I'd encourage you to deepen your understanding of this deeply nuanced topic with deep theological roots by going to the website www.scd.org/WPC. There you will find resources and helpful questions and provoking insights to help you make your own decision within our Catholic tradition.